Hello everybody. Welcome to this week of Wednesday Night Dash presented by Stadium Scene TV. Today we have the Talladega 106 at Talladega Superspeedway in Lincoln, Alabama. Now let's quickly get into the track stats. Talladega Speedway opened in 1969. It is 2.66 miles long. There's 33 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2. Very steep. 32.4 in turn 3 and 32.5 in turn 4. Today's session rules: 40-minute practice, a 5-minute qualification, or 2 laps. And the race will be 40 laps with a competition caution at lap 20. Now let's get into the driver's points here after last week's race. Colton is out to an early big league, but 2nd through 8th place are separated by only 12 points. We should see the season debut of Jax Milan this week from JM Racing, and hopefully Mark Vicars returning as well. Series veteran Justin Neves will be making his return to the series next week, January 31st, at Bristol. Real quick, let's take a look at everybody's points. Right now, Colton Gardner is sitting at 88, and we have a tie between Fernando Takahashi and Brian McKinney with both at 68 points. Then number 4 is Jesse Fox with 67. Then number 5 we have Dylan Behrens with 62. Then number 6 we have Eric Richardson with 61 points. Then we have DJ Fluck, number 7 with 58 points. Then we have Mark Willett with 56 points. Then John Miles with 31 points. Then Lane Snow with 30 points. Andrew Hewitt with 30 points. Ian Miller with 29. Tyler Vickery with 26. And the rest of our drivers, Vickers, Neves, and Jackson Milan, are all at 0. Now the drivers just got into qualifying, so let's give a shout out to our friends at the House of Hockey podcast. On this week's House of Hockey, Breezy and Ray discussed the New York Islanders hiring of hockey legend Patrick Waugh and the Edmonton Oilers signed Corey Perry to a 1-year deal. A discussion breaks out about the NHL All-Star Game with celebrity co-captains Justin Bieber, Will Arnett, Tate McRae, and Michael Bublé. The episode airs at 5 p.m. Eastern Thursday right here on Stadium Scene TV. Now this weekend, we're going to shift gears just slightly here. This weekend is a big weekend for the iRacing League, for Wednesday Night Dash, for Stadium Scene. This weekend, we are having the AFSP 200. This Saturday on Apex Racing TV, the green flag flies at 9:15 p.m. and spots are still available. iRacing and WJ Mulfield Motorsports are teaming up to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention on January 27th. Sign up to race the NASCAR Next Gen cars at Michigan International Speedway and raise money for a great cause. Minimum $20 donation to the AFSP gets you into the race, and you are also entered to win some amazing prizes, including the grand prize of an AX80 cockpit frame from our friends at Extreme Sim Racing. If you're not interested in driving, that's okay. Tune in Saturday, January 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Apex Racing TV for the race, which will feature real-life ARCA Menard Series driver Stephanie Moyer, Legacy Motor Club teardown specialist TJ Peters, and other surprise celebrity guests that will be announced closer to race day. Make a donation as a viewer, and you'll be entered for a chance to win some amazing prizes. Learn more and sign up at frracingonline.com/AFSP200, and spots are limited. Right now, we have the current drivers from Wednesday Night Dash that are locked in to the AFSP 200 include Colton Gardner, Mark Vicars, Brian McKinney, Fernando Takahashi, Eric Richardson, where'd he go? Eric Richardson and DJ Fluck. Right now, they are the current drivers that are participating in the AFSP 200. Now, real quick, DJ Fluck's car reminded me, the NASCAR Next Gen's got a new body. As you can see, the Ford Mustang Dark Horse is the new body on the Next Gen car. And let me try and find one of our Toyotas. There is a new Toyota Camry body on the Toyota entry. Running the Toyotas. Yeah, there's a good view of that new Toyota. So it's going to be interesting because the Toyotas previously have been known to not push very well. They, like, the bumpers have not been able to get locked up. Oh, you guys can't even see that. I apologize for that little mistake. But anyways, there is the new the new Toyota Camry and the new, everybody's wrapping up their qualifying laps. I apologize for not getting to show that just yet, but we'll see it once we go green flag racing. Right now, Mark Vicars is still out on the track. Looks like we have about 12 drivers registered tonight. It looks like Tyler Vickery and Mark Vicars did not post a qualifying time yet, as the session is about to end. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today. Once everybody starts to grid up. There we go. We have Colton Gardner on pole with Jesse Fox running P2. Then we have Lane Snow and John Miles running P3 and P4. Then we have Brian McKinney and Eric Richardson running P5 and P6. And P7 and P8, we have Fernando Takahashi and Dylan Behrens. Running P9 is Mark Willett, and DJ Fluck in that new Ford Mustang is in position 10. In position 11 is Tyler Vickery, and position 12 is Mark Vicars, who did not submit qualifying times. But that is all right. We're still waiting for the drivers to grid up. As of right now, looks like only 2 drivers still have to grid up. Real quick, let's see if we can get possibly an interview with one of the drivers while they are waiting to grid up. Let's see who's in here. Let's see who I can drag in. See who I can steal. Looks like the drivers are beginning to roll off. So let's see if we can bring in their current championship point sitter, Colton Gardner, into here. Colton, it's Hunter in the booth. You got a copy? Colton, it's Hunter in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
All right, man. You're starting on pole today. Do you think you have the speed to go for 3 for 3? Talladega, you don't really know what could happen, but do you think you could get it done today?
I feel like I got the speed, but if I have the luck, that's another question.
Yeah, you're running in that new Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Do you like, or are you enjoying that new body?
Yeah, I love it. It looks mean, and I hope it performs as good as it looks today.
All right, well, you have a good race, my friend.
Yes, sir. You have a good broadcast.
Thank you. All right, that was the voice of Colton Gardner, driver of the number 40 French Broad Fire and Rescue machine. As they're coming around turn 3, going around the high banks, 33 degrees of banking. You couldn't even stand straight up on this banking. It's so high. We're going to see, let's take you from a far camera angle as they go and get the green flag. Pace car is about to make that sharp, hard left turn under the safety of pit road, and they'll be under the control of Colton Gardner. Now, unlike Daytona, the Geico restart zone is not till the middle of the tri-oval. So we're going to have a bit of time as they all are waiting in anticipation to get the green flag. The green flag is out. Slow rolling to start off, but Colton Gardner gets a good jump as they all head into turn 1. And we already have a crash. Mark Vicars, not really sure what happened there. Let's go ahead and take a look. Not really sure what happened there with Mark Vicars. Maybe we can go ahead and take a look at that later, but unfortunate for Mark Vicars. Didn't even get a chance to get into turn 1 and already wrecked out. Right now, these drivers are side by side, 4 rows deep, trying to find any bit of room that they have. Try and get up to the front. Looks like Jesse Fox is able to control that bottom lane. There's more cars on the bottom lane, and the top lane seems to be kind of all over the place right now. It looks like we have the 13 of Eric Richardson, Tyler Vickery, Dylan Behrens, and not sure who's in that Camry back there, but it looks like we got most of our drivers down on the bottom. Looks like everybody's just trying to get single file at the moment. Looks like Eric Richardson and Tyler Vickery are left out on the back, but it looks like they might file in single file. Looks like it's gonna be a single file race for a minute. See what these drivers can do. As we look back, you can just see how everybody is pretty much just content running right in line. No one really seems to be wanting to do anything dashing just yet. They all are still piling on in there. Looks like the number 1 of Dylan Behrens and the number 45 of John Miles is trying to get that top lane to start working, but with only 2 cars, it doesn't really look like he can go anywhere. Now we have Mark Willett in the number 80 trying to take a peek to the outside, trying to see if they can make that top line work. We're already 4 laps down from this thing, but remember that on lap 20 is our competition yellow. So maybe these drivers are just going to take it easy for the first 20 laps. And then once the second half of the race starts, then it'll really be race time. You see a new challenger going up high. Brian McKinney trying to find some room in that top lane. Let's take a ride inside and see what he is seeing at the moment. You know, it doesn't seem like you can really go anywhere unless you have help from behind. You really have to have somebody right behind you pushing you to be able to make any sort of progress. And with Dylan Behrens dropping out of line, but now looks like Eric Richardson jumping back up into that second lane. See if these two can maybe put a little bump draft action and get up to the front of the pack. I think if they were really trying, they could probably side draft their way up through the field and at least contend, but that's just part of the challenge of super speedway racing. Now it looks like we got some battling going on. Looks like the script just flipped. Looks like we have about... what is that? About 4 and... looks like we got about 5 cars on the bottom and 5 cars on the top. So now they're about dead split even. And we have Colton Gardner making a move to try and take back the lead spot. This looks like we have a bit of 3-wide racing going on now. Looks like Dylan Behrens is trying to make that 3-wide work. He's kind of hung out to dry. He's got no one's trying to go to the middle there. Looks like we might get some proper 3-wide racing. It looks like these drivers are itching for that. It's like Colton Gardner is jumping back and forth between that second and third lane. And we've got 3 rows of 3 all the way deep. This pack of about 11. Oh, they're getting close to touching. John Miles there makes a little bit of contact with Dylan Behrens, but they're all able to keep it through. And that contact kind of ruined that racing that we were starting to get to see. Now it looks like everybody wants to pan back out. These 3, the number 8, the number 1, and the number 13 of Brian McKinney, Dylan Behrens, and Eric Richardson, respectively, were running 3 wide, but they're getting their stuff sorted out. We're only 8 laps into this thing. We still have a lot of racing left. These drivers are screaming into the corners at 190 miles per hour. take a look at, say, someone in the middle of this. Oh, we got a wreck. Eric Richardson wrecking towards the inside into the infield grass. He's able to keep it straight, but he's going to totally lose the pack, and he might go a lap or two down. Let's quickly take a look and see what caused that incident. Let me see. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. Well, unfortunate for Eric. But going back up to the front, Jesse Fox is now leading this thing. And Colton Gardner is leading that second lane. Now you can see, let's take a ride on with Colton Gardner. You can see Colton Gardner. Actually, let's go to Tyler Vickery. Tyler Vickery right behind Colton Gardner in that second lane, really pushing that number 40 machine. And he's able to push him all the way to the front of the pack almost. Looks like they might be getting help from Brian McKinney as well. Actually, Brian McKinney's down to the inside. Who's on the... Oh, yeah, Brian McKinney is on the top. So those three cars... But just look at Tyler Vickery. How close Tyler Vickery is getting to the back of Colton Gardner for this lead. And these three cars, even though there is two less cars on the top, with how tight they are drafting, they're able to stay right with that bottom line and actually kind of make headwind on the rest of the bottom line. And in these cars, you get a crazy big draft, or a big side draft down the backstretch and front stretch triangles. So that outside line kind of loses their momentum going into the turns, but once they get back onto that straightaway, that outside line charges forward really quickly. And the laps are ticking by really quickly. We only have 9 laps to go until the stage break at lap number 20. Now it looks like Brian McKinney has faltered and gone to the bottom line. So now it's just the two, Colton Gardner and Tyler Vickery. And can the two-car tandem work? Can they make up all the ground on the rest of the pack? I'm not really sure if they can. They might just need to fall back in line and just wait this thing out until someone else makes a move, or looks back up. Fernando Takahashi pulls up in front of Colton Gardner, and that's going to allow them to surge to the front. And now here comes Brian McKinney once again. Now there's 4 cars, another even split, 4 and 4. So 8 cars in this lead pack. And Fernando Takahashi might be able to lead a lap here, as Colton Gardner may look 3 wide to try and force him out, hang him out to dry, but it looks like he's going to just stay back in, but he goes 3 wide now. And that's going to kill the momentum of the entire bottom line, or top line. And all 4 of those drivers are now scrambling 2 by 2 to try and get back into line behind Mark Willett. The biggest loser out of that was really Fernando Takahashi. He jumped in front of Colton Gardner, running maybe P4 or like 4th in that bottom line, and now he's all the way back, and he's got An uncomfortable gap to Tyler Vickery ahead of him, but he might be able to close it because he has Brian McKinney behind him. All our drivers wanting to stay single file now, as we only have about 5 laps to our competition yellow. Colton Gardner jumps out once again with Brian McKinney in tow. And Fernando Takahashi joining that top line as well. 3 cars on the top, 5 cars on the bottom. As Mark Willett takes Tyler Vickery all the way to the yellow line and almost below the yellow line. That's going to allow the top line to get just about even with the leaders. Bottom line is starting to falter, and that's going to allow the top line to charge. Take a really strong charge to the front. Let's take a ride on with Brian McKinney real quick. See him make his way to the front. Now side by side with Jesse Fox. Colton Gardner is now clear for the lead. So all of our drivers are single file. Because we've only got about 3 laps until stage break. And we've got Jesse Fox, Tyler Vickery, and Mark Willett there in the back trying to make that top line work once again. Brian McKinney up to second place, and Colton Gardner comfortably in the lead as we come to just about 2 laps to go. And as you can see up there in the distance is DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson, possibly going to go a lap down, but I don't think they're going to go. I don't think the lead pack is going to get to them before the yellow comes out. Here we go. 1 more lap to go in this first stage. Is everybody gonna stay content? Remember, there is a bonus point for leading at the stage break. And with how tight the points are right now, this early in the season, every driver is going to want to be clawing for that final point. Right now, it's all the Colton Gardner shows. They come off turn number 4. Brian McKinney going to make a move to the outside. Doesn't look like it. Here comes the number 5 machine, but isn't going to be able to get to him as they come to the line. Man, some of the drivers were racing like that was the last lap. mean, as Colton Gardner goes and catches up to the pace car, we're gonna see the pit stop cycles happen. All right, they all catch up to the pace car. One of the cars came in real hot. We'll see as the drivers make their way down on a pit road now. You know, I don't think tires will be a huge deal, but they definitely are going to need to get fuel. So we might see some strategy of drivers maybe not taking tires or only taking 2 tires to try and get a slight advantage. They all roll down pit road. All 11 cars. As they enter, Colton Gardner, Tyler Vickery. Tyler Vickery somehow managed to get P2 there, which is interesting. Brian McKinney, Fernando Takahashi, Lane Snow, John Miles, Mark Willett, Jesse Fox, Dylan Morenz. Oh, already Fernando Takahashi. So maybe no tires. You see a couple of drivers did not take tires there. Colton Gardner was one of the ones that took tires. So this will be interesting. Looks like Fernando Takahashi did not take tires there. He looked like he was just gas and go. And he was able to boost himself to the lead. I also don't know if Tyler Vickery, I don't know if Tyler took tires. Jesse Fox maybe. But now Colton Gardner is going to be sitting P8 because he took 4 tires. And that was clearly not the right call. Or maybe it was the right call because it is still Talladega. And you can go from the back to the front pretty quickly. Eyes are on Fernando Takahashi. Maybe taking 2 tires or no tires. I didn't really get a good look at it because the other cars were in the way, but... Pretty soon this race is going to be over before you even know it. The drivers look like they're getting ready to line up 2 by 2, which means we'll have 1 lap to go here before we go back racing. Drivers are on the backstretch now. Looks like they're going to be lining up Fernando Takahashi, Tyler Vickery, Jesse Fox, Lane Snow running out your top 4. We'll see what this has to do. We got some new faces up in the front for the first time in this season. Actually, Fernando Takahashi is not, I would say, for in this race. Fernando Takahashi and Tyler Vickery know the front. But in this race, they've been about mid-pack, you know. So this will be a good time so they can finally see their true potential. As the pace car is getting ready to make the hard left turn onto the safety of pit road. Let's actually take you inside of Lane Snow for a bit of Turn It Up presented by Stadium Scene TV. Alrighty there. We have, as we get back into it, there is some exciting stuff happening. Everybody's bouncing all over the place. The bottom line, or the top line, is starting to make its move with Takahashi, Colton Gardner, Wallet, and Fluck in tow. But it's Lane Snow out in front. Going to be leading a lap. Might be his first lap led of the season so far. Lane Snow's going to go up and block that top line, but that's going to make the bottom line fizzle out just a little bit. And they are 2 by 2. All rows deep. Jesse Fox gets a really good lunge from Dylan Behrens, and them two are going to get... They're gonna put a slight gap on the whole field. Brian McKinney is a little bit slow off the pace, and Takahashi is going to shoot up 3 wide, but nobody's gonna go up there to support him, so he might be falling all the way back, but he gets in line eventually. This bottom line is very tight together right now with Jesse Fox, Lane Snow, Tyler Vickery, and John Miles. Dylan Behrens leading that top lane. A new face leading the top lane that we haven't seen so far in this race. And these drivers, if you notice, they keep washing back and forth across their lines, which is hurting the draft. Actually, you want to stay as locked down in your line as possible. That's the fastest way around these tracks. If you keep bouncing back and forth, you're just going to slow yourself and your whole line down as well. Oh, big wreck. Dylan Berenz around. Brian McKinney around. Was that Fernando Takahashi slow as well? Dylan Berenz still trying to get that thing righted. Gonna be able to get it now, but some hard damage on his car. Take a look at that incident. So Dylan Berenz leading that top line. Does he just get a bad push? He goes up top and he just gets a little tiny tap. Gets into Eric Richardson just a little bit and then it's all over from there. Unfortunate for Dylan Berenz. Had a really good run this race. It also looks like that may have taken out Fernando Takahashi. See Dylan Berenz on pit road now. Fernando on pit road. The field's coming around. They're all going to be about single file now. They all probably got scared because of that incident. But two really strong drivers taken out. Still pretty late in the game. Still single file. You got Colton Gardner back there. Not able to make his way up through the field after that incident. Colton Gardner, Eric, and DJ not working together, which is what they need to be doing right now. The three of them need to be working together because they are starting to lose that front four cars. These front four cars have broken away from the rest of the field. There we go. Now they're finally getting their act together and hopefully they can catch up to the rest of this pack. But the question is can Colton Gardner get back up to the front? He's going to be eager to do it. Let's take a ride inside and see how he's going to try and manage his way up to the front of the field. There's only 9 laps to go. So when is go time? You need to coordinate with your teammates. And it looks like both Fernando Takahashi and Dylan Berenz are back out on track. So good for them. Keeping it out on track and not just throwing in the towel for the race. But I think these drivers are going to stay single file all the way up until the white flag. I think that's what's going to happen. Now you have Colton Gardner trying to find any sort of scrap of speed. Isn't able to find anything. Now Lane Snow takes a peek to that top line. Right now isn't going. Nobody's going to go with him. So if he just moves to that top line, it'll basically be a death sentence unless he knows somebody is going to be behind him when he moves up there. And Eric Richardson goes way below the yellow line. But is able to keep it straight. And you can tell the eagerness from Tyler Vickery in that number 24 machine. He wants to go. He wants to be leading this thing with only 8 laps to go. But the question is when does the run come and when do you take it? And speaking of taking a run, Colton Gardner by himself way up high trying to find any ounce of speed. Looks like he's going to try and make his way around Eric Richardson and probably hopefully try and get Eric Richardson or DJ Fluck but he's going to be hung out totally to dry. Colton Gardner way out of the draft. And there they run single file once again. Let's head back up. Jesse Fox mirror driving with all his might. There may only be 6 laps to go, but that is a lot of racing left, especially at a track like this, where things can change in an instant. So we got the lap car, Fernando Takahashi, doing a good job of just staying way up high. But he might be a factor in these things. If he can stay in the draft of this lead pack, even though he's a car lap down, that's still another car to draft with. Maybe he can jump in behind Colton Gardner and push Colton Gardner to the win. Or push another driver. It looks like he's going to try and fall back in to come around turn 4. Go down the tri-oval. With only 5 laps to go here. 5 laps to go here at Talladega. This race seems like it has flown by. All eyes are on the front of this pack right now. Tyler Vickery, Lane Snow, Jesse Fox. Will they be content to just run single file for the rest of this race? And I don't think so. I think they're gonna stay single file for a good bit of time. Maybe until the white flag, but they are going to want to be making their moves or thinking about the moves that they want to make shortly. Four laps left now. Three laps to go. When is it crunch time for these drivers? Colton Gardner gets a good jump on that outside. Is anybody go up and follow him with him? And it is John Miles is the first one to break out of that 4-car tandem, and he just goes right back into it. But it looks like the back cars of Gardner, Fluck, and Takahashi are going to make that outside line work. So real quick, let's see if anybody else, and as I say that, they all pull back into line. Just isn't the time yet. But they're running out of time shortly. They can only do this for just a little bit longer. They cross the line. 2 laps to go here at Talladega. 2 laps to go. You can see the energy is starting to build up, especially with Colton Gardner. Colton Gardner wants to get to the front of the pack to at least try and race for the win. He's probably pounding his steering wheel right now as nobody's taking it. Oh, Colton Gardner goes way up high. Takahashi follows. See if anybody else wants to jump out of line to try and make it. Oh! As Jesse Fox, the leader, gets turned. And now they're side by side for the lead. This race just went from 0 to 100 real quick. And Tyler Vickery gets into... And they're still wrecking Takahashi, DJ Fluck, and Colton Gardner is leading on the white flag after all of that, with John Miles only about 2 tenths behind. This is going to come down to a mono-e-mono finish. Pretty much a 1 versus 1. John Miles is not going to pull out just yet. This is the battle for the win. Colton Gardner. Jesse Fox looks to the outside. He's going to cut back to the inside. He's going to turn Colton Gardner. John Miles is going to win at Talladega by turning Colton Gardner on the final stretch. What a race. That final last lap. We're going to have to go ahead and take him in. And Eric Richardson gets P2. And DJ Fluck comes across the line, position number 3. I would say that might be his first podium of the Wednesday Night Dash League. I don't know that for sure, but good on DJ Fluck. Colton Gardner comes home 4th. Lane Snow comes home 5th. Mark Willett comes home 6th. Jesse Fox comes home 7th. Brian McKinney comes home 7th. Jesse Fox comes home 8th. Tyler Vickery 9th. Takahashi 10th. Berens 11th. And Mark Vicars 12th. I don't know what to make of that last lap. Once John Miles gets done burning it down, we're gonna take a look at that last lap from all of the calamity that happened. He's really gonna burn it down here. Let's take a look at that last lap, because there was so much happened in such a short amount of time. It's gonna take a whole lot to actually figure out what had happened. This is gonna be about two laps to go here. Let's take a look and see what happened on that last lap, and then we'll get to driver interviews. But I just want to go ahead and see what happened on that last lap. There was a whole lot that went on. So it looks like, let's fast forward just a tiny bit. Okay, so right there, looks like John Miles got into the back of Jesse Fox, and then that upset the whole field, and then Tyler Vickery got just loose off the corner, and that sent everybody else wrecking. That was what caused that big wreck. And then everybody wrecked behind, and then it was a 1 versus 1 to the finish line between Colton Gardner and John Miles. And as they come off turn 4, John Miles looks to the outside, cuts back inside, and gets into the back of Colton Gardner and spins him towards the inside grass. And John Miles is your winner through all of that. What a crazy way to finish this Talladega 120. Let's hop over to driver interviews. Let's see. Right now we have DJ and John. Let's hop Eric Richardson too. All right. So DJ Fluck came home with a P3 today. Really strong run today. How was your day?
Well, the first half was awful. Hey, it's glad to be here. It's for once I actually got invited to the post race interview, but uh, first half was terrible. I got separated right away, and I was holding my breath, and I avoided getting lapped on the final lap before the stage break. It was about 2 seconds behind us was the pack, so Eric and I survived that and got our mulligan.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not really sure what to make of that last lap, but I'm sure taking a look at it from your point of view would be just as fun as from the TV point of view. Yeah, so you got a P3 today. I think that's one of your first podiums of our league. Is that true?
It's I believe this is my third podium.
Third?
Yeah, tie's my best finish though.
Awesome. Well, great day for you. I think that's all I have for you for the rest of the night. So have a good night.
And thanks for having me in. And shout out to the be sure to tune into the AFSP 200 Saturday night on Apex Racing TV. Visit frracingonline.com/AFSP 200. Had to get that plug in there.
All right. Next, we have Eric Richardson in here. Eric Richardson came home P2, had a really strong run, was pretty quiet in the beginning of the race, but just kind of kept his cool, which is exactly what you have to do in these Talladega races. Eric, tell me about your night.
It was, I guess, a story of highs and lows, really. It was wild.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not really sure how... I wasn't really watching your car, but did you have to kind of play dodge and weave to get through that mess that was the final lap?
I pretty much was just keeping it straight. I didn't have to do too much. That last one, Fernando actually straightened me out. I started to spin and then I got tapped again and was able to keep it going straight.
Oh, well, definitely a good, strong run for you. And I think that's all. I think that's about all that I have for you. So you have a good rest of your night as well.
Yeah, thank you, Hunter. Looking forward to next week, and we'll see everybody soon.
And our winner tonight is John Miles by absolute attrition and survival. Pretty much what I can call that is survival. John, tell me about your night.
Yeah, the Spider Toyota Camry TRD was super quick. I was trying to work with my teammate a lot that race. I know at the very beginning of the race, I got split 3 middle and just kind of fell to the back. And like you said, it was a battle of attrition, just trying to make my way back up and keep the car clean because normally there's a bigger wreck towards the end. So I was kind of ready for it. I was running their P4. Then my teammate in front of me spun out with somebody else, and it was kind of a drag race to the finish. I went high, and then there was a block up there, so I went low. Thought I got clear, but I hate to spin them like that, but it still feels just as good still to win, and I'm happy to be in victory lane today.
Yeah, definitely. So I had a small conversation with actually Colton Gardner before the race, talking about the new Ford Mustang Dark Horse, but you are rocking the new Toyota Camry this tonight. So how was that? How did the new Toyota Camry work in the draft? Was it different than the old model, or was it just about the same?
I'd say it definitely, aerodynamically wise, it definitely drove a lot better on super speedways. I mean, that was Toyota's main focus whenever designing this new Toyota Camry. Its front end's a lot flatter too, which makes it a lot easier to bump draft. And so this is one that my team, just in general, with 2 Toyotas being fielded today, is one my team definitely had circled. And so this was probably my first real test run in the car, and it didn't disappoint, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. Go ahead and enjoy your win and have a good night.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you to all the boys back in Columbia too for watching. I appreciate you all tuning in.
Yep, thank you. Alrighty, well that was quite an interesting race. We had some single file racing, we had some 3-wide racing, some 2-wide, maybe they even were 4-wide at some point, but at the end it comes down to a 1 versus 1 battle on the white flag lap. It can't get any more textbook than that. It's unfortunate that it ended the way that it did with a spin to the grass, but that's sometimes just how these things play out. But anyways, that'll be the end of the stream today. Hope you all enjoyed it. Be back here next week for Bristol Motor Speedway at night. That's definitely going to be really fun. You don't want to miss that. These cars and Bristol Motor Speedway are like, they're like two peas in a pod. And then we kick off February with Phoenix Raceway. And then we go to Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval on the 21st. We end off February with Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then we round out the season in March at Texas, Dover, and Kansas. So make sure you're here same time, same place next week for Bristol at night. My name's Hunter Hughes. I casted tonight. I will see you all later. Goodbye.